Alrighty, what's going on everyone? This is the Warden. I am coming at you with some Heroes of the Storm gameplay. Today I'm actually going to show you how you can improve your Thrall gameplay in just a few simple steps. I'm going to go over build composition, I'm going to go over gameplay mechanics, I'm going to go over soaking, I'm going to go over everything that you need to know to be the best Thrall that you can be. Check it out.
Can you hear it? The end of the Alliance.
Oh yeah, the end of the Alliance. Oof, I love that voice though. Like, I wish I had a voice that was that deep.
Unlock it again if you accept our generous offer. The Horde bows to no demon.
This fight begins in 10 seconds.
Cool. So I realize that I cannot hear anything in game right now. That's beautiful.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I kind of want to like.
For the Horde!
Alright, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna check
A
this right here.
hero has abandoned the battle. That hero's back in the fight.
I think that doesn't change it for you guys, so I'm just gonna leave the volume where it's at so that I can hear it, and then yeah, I'm gonna have to listen back to the recording to see if it actually does affect it. Just right now with one ear, I can't really hear shit when it's super low, like it was before. There we go. Alright, so you guys have seen some of my Uther play before. I mean, my Thrall play before. I'm gonna kind of walk you through the reasons that I pick. Oh shit. Oh, this is bad. Oh, this is bad. Oh, this is bad. Yep. This is guaranteed death. Holy god, they rotated down for my ass. Is there a group chat? Oh, why did I do that? I'm gonna jump in voice. Alright, I jumped in voice. If you guys call down when they move, that'd be awesome. So I'm going to go over a little bit of my Thrall build with you guys. Hopefully this is not another loss. I was trying to make another video about this, but the problem kind of lies in how well I do. So like, I'll make a video and then it's like if I lose, I don't want to really show that as, oh, this is the Thrall build that I choose, and it's like insta loss. That seems kind of counterintuitive to my point. Granted, the build isn't really what makes us lose, it's the bad plays and other things like that, but I feel like it's probably better to watch a winning vid than it is to watch a loss. But, you know, such is life. So, things that are important to note and things to remember. Thrall has a lot of versatility, but the all-around, I don't want to say better build. He has a build that is a little bit more solo queue friendly, and this is I'll be doing and demonstrating that build for you guys so that you can see. Oh fuck! I'm just gonna. Kind of do this. I just kind of dicked off while my team was trying to do that. We probably could have gotten a kill had I turned around and maybe helped out there, but I was not doing that, which is not good. I should be maximizing my damage potential and output for the team. We have a bunch of tanks, so we should be able to get. It's like we have a bunch of fat heroes. Like, we should be able to make this shit work really easily. Also, I feel like I'm watching my game lag a little bit, which is making me a little aggravated. I'm sorry about that. But this is pretty much what we're going to be doing. So we're doing a little bit of ranked play with Thrall, and the biggest factor for this is showing how you can be more impactful when you play Thrall, especially if you're going to be solo queuing in Hero League. Since they've added, I guess, like solo queue in Team League, I guess you can kind of route around that a little bit, but the thing is that you're still in Hero League, Team League. It doesn't matter what thing you're in per se. You're still going to be having to do the right kind of plays. So this is an aim to get people onto the same page. So in here, so far, you guys have seen me pick my talents. I've gone Echo of Elements, I've gone Mana Tide, and based on their team, this is actually one of the times where I could do Maelstrom Weapon, but I'm still going to go for Ancestral Wrath because I definitely need that healing in the late game. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's like this, so I'll show you guys what I mean in a second. So as usually you should be maxing out Echo of Elements before this point, but if you get Echo of Elements early on, like level 7, things like that, that's not bad. You should be aiming to get the quest completed ideally prior to level 7, but obviously the sooner you get it completed, the better off you are. It does increase your overall DPS, which is obviously the point of being an assassin, which Thrall is very good at his job. He fits more into the bruiser category, but it all depends on how you play him. The reason that I go for Echo of Elements is because he gets a power spike at level 16 that's called Thunderstorm. Basically what you do with Thunderstorm is you get a bonus to your overall damage, and you add a slow when hitting people with Chain Lightning, which is a good thing because Thrall really only has light CC. His only method of CC is unfortunately also one of his only things, is also his only means of escape. So using Feral Spirit, I'm not going to contest you for this. There's no reason. I'm not going to die to Li Ming trying to get this. We should get that though. It would be good. It would be a good idea. Timing.
Magic flows through the temples. Guardian, not let me.
There you go. Now, you can actually use, and as I did it there, it wasn't really necessary, you can use Ancestral Wrath to finish off, actually finish someone off, because it does do basically pure damage. It does 5% of their maximum health every 1 second, essentially. So, and it heals you for 150% of that amount. So it basically heals you for an overall 15% of their max health. It does 15% of their max health and damage, and you heal for 150% of that, so you heal for 22.5% of their maximum health and damage, which is good. That's why I use it on tanks, and it makes you survive a lot longer in combat. Because of my team being a little bit low on damage, I'm actually going to go for Sundering. Typically I go for Earthquake because usually people pick a bunch of low HP heroes, and you're going to need the Earthquake bonus late game. Yeah, it's still a good idea to pull regardless of whether you have heavy DPS or not. Earthquake and its level 20 talent are still really good choices to pull. Some people don't like to do it, but it is what it is. Welcome to the stream, guys. Hope you're enjoying it. I'm actually going over some gameplay tips for Thrall, so if you're interested in some Heroes of the Storm, and you're interested in some gameplay tips, or you're interested in seeing someone, let me know. I'll be doing this for a few hours, so we're going to go over some different characters here and there. It also depends on team comp, so at most heroes I play, and I'll go over builds and specifics with those. Right now, we're just going over different tips to play Thrall, the build that I picked and why I picked it. In this particular match, and this is not good. I kind of want to continue getting this, but this is not. Oh god, he's low. He's low. Well, he's not really that low, but we can't let them have it. Oh dear. There you go. That's a guaranteed way to get it. Oh shit. Okay. So that was actually a really crazy team fight. And really the only reason I lived was because of Ancestral Wrath. The biggest ploy to Thrall is his Frostwolf Resilience, basically his passive. So every time you hit someone with an ability, it grants 1 stack of Frostwolf Resilience. And then you have certain talents where like Wind Fury grants double the I think it's double here. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, so it grants double Frostwolf Resilience, and then you have also a level 16 talent where Wind Fury hits 3 times at the end. So you can effectively tap your gauge. You can actually tap your gauge twice with just hitting them from 1 stack of full Frostwolf. I mean, 1 stack of Wind Fury. It's an interesting build, but it's really only good if you are playing against an entirely melee team, which I am not, actually. I'm playing against 3 ranged, so it would not be the ideal build for me. I'm not going to go and sit in here and feed. I'm just going to let them take the bottom tower. Sometimes you have to know when to lose an objective. Thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate it. If you guys are stopping by and you're new, just think about dropping a follow if you're interested in Here's the Storm content. I put out Here's the Storm content pretty much well, multiple times a week, actually. Oh, that was a really bad Sunder. That was a really, really bad Sunder. Oh, shit. I'm gonna go for Frostwolf. Not Frostwolf Resilience. I'm gonna go for... Oh my god, my healing. There we go. So even though I missed the Sunder, which really wasn't a good thing to miss, we still won the fight, and now we're a little bit ahead. We also managed to maintain control, and we can now rotate around and push, actually, because they're basically all down. In my case, I'm actually not going to go for pushing. I'm going to go and grab us some mercs, and then hopefully we can kind of pick up on the other side. I'm going to see if we can grab both sets of mercs. Typically what you want to do if you have command, like I do in this instance, you'd want to go and grab the mercs on their side, but they spawned up, and based on the fact that Uther and I are, nowhere near finished with this camp yet, they would have been able to gank us and grab it. So I'm actually pretty happy that I decided to go and stop where I was and pick the mercs that I did, because otherwise this would have ended up in a death for probably 2 of us and a waste of mercs, or just freely giving over the camp to them, which is also a waste. Oh dear. It's okay. Well, we're just, out here doing stuff. Oh, goodness. Goodness gracious. Come on. There we go. How beautiful. Wait, is that laser following me? No, it's not. I thought the laser was following me, and I'm just getting killed because frickin' a noob is running right in front of my face. Not good. Pay attention to the AoE DPS around laser, which is much higher than it used to be. Because of things like that. I basically blew all of my HP and had to have my Rhaegar use his ability on me instead of being able to use it on one of my tanks and being able to keep this battle alive. But it is what it is. We got this fight here is... Oh, Mal'Ganis is here. The problem with Thrall is that in this case, I'm not running out of HP. I'm just running out of mana, so that's my biggest issue in this. We could stay up here and fight this. We do have the damage for it. It's just, why would we? We could take bottom. I mean, Noob is taking bottom, and that's totally fine. There we go. Oh gosh, I hate his stupid jump thing. Alright, so this is why I get my build. You see, I'm grabbing Thunderstorm. I'm not thinking about what ability I've got to pick. Thunderstorm is the ideal choice. Increases my damage output, and it gives me a slow, which is crucial to playing Thrall, because you don't have a lot of damage, so you got to utilize them in any way you can. Oh goodness gracious! Come on, come on, come on! Give me Thunderstorm. Give me. Oh god. Not an ideal choice. Give me this, give me this, give me this, give me this. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna go over this and why we're doing this. I kind of dicked around with it for most of the stream, and I feel like that's really not the ideal way to do this, especially when going through a walkthrough. This build is particularly strong. It's one of Thrall's strongest builds. It's also one of his highest self-sustained builds. And with Thrall, the main purpose of you doing what you're doing is to be a self-sustained high DPS assassin. So in my case, I'm doing both of my jobs surprisingly well. Obviously, it doesn't mean that I don't ever need any help from my team, because Thrall can get CC'd down like anyone else. He's definitely not immune to it by any means, considering that he has no kind of cleanse or anything like that. He obviously would need help from his team, but you can kind of ride around with about half mana and still be okay. I mean, you're going to be struggling in team fights, but you won't be just like a huge burden on your team. Yeah, dude? There you go. Yeah? CCs win games. Just remember that. If anyone ever asks you what wins games, CC and team coordination. That's what wins games. Nothing else. Boss? Yeah, no, I'm gonna actually go back. I know I'm heavy in DPS, but I really need to go back. I'm low on mana, and a Thrall that's low on mana can be a huge detriment in a team fight. He does have a really high base damage, considering, but they've nerfed his health. So I've got, you know, we're at level 20, we're at like, I think like 4k HP, 4100 HP, but I have 364.7, so 65 damage as just like a general auto attack, which is really beefy considering. The big reason for my build, and a lot of why I choose it, is actually because Thrall tends to be he tends to thrive with this kind of build. So here, I don't want to create impassable terrain. That's not really ideal, especially since I don't have a range team. Creating impassable terrain could leave us in the shits. Obviously, there is a good use for it. You could kind of block an exit if you use it well, but I feel like Sundering can be a bit of a mixed bag where the middle lines up and sometimes you end up stuck. I'm actually going to get it just to show you why it could be, you know, see, like in this instance, I used it and the other team ended up basically on the other side and we ended up there, which isn't good for us. There we go. Oh, thanks for using it on me, bud. I'll just run away from it. This is not ideal. You shouldn't be just running around. But we're gonna win anyway, so I'm not exactly stressed about it. I'm gonna go over the final build once we kind of get into. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna go over the final build right now, and I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like at the end of the game. I mean, I capped out. Well, I almost capped with experience as well. I capped out damage. 47,000 is really not a lot for Thrall, but it did land me the MVP, so I really am not going to complain. Obviously, only one death. That beginning death was the big issue in the game, but yeah, this is also a really good point. We had a giant stun team, so again, heavy CCs win you games more often than not. I'm going to go over the build right now just because we're here and I can kind of discuss it without getting interrupted. Oh yeah, okay, I'll show you guys the stats right now. So level 687, I'm not going to go to that. So overall stats, MVP, 1 death. Obviously Thrall, you know, you want to try to keep your deaths low no matter who you play, but it's really important that your assassin is keeping their deaths low. Just because you don't want to go and feed and have the other team beat the crap out of you and beat you in an EXP lead. Nazeebo was the only one on the team. This is where we show kind of how team dynamics work. Our lowest farm Our lowest EXP contribution, 10k, and their highest is 14. Now, this Nazeebo really did a lot of work because he he effectively doubled, more than doubled their lowest EXP contribution, and even their highest EXP contribution, 8,000, almost doubled their second highest EXP contribution. So this Nazeebo was doing a lot of work for their team. We were doing a lot of work as well. We typically maintained our lane and our soak and getting mercs, so we were capitalizing on our advantage. In this, I'll go over the build. Typically, this is not my standard build. I almost also never go for World Breaker. I was just showing you guys my cause for World Breaker. Typically, though, we go for Echo of Elements. You get 20 after 10 stacks. It reduces the mana cost down to 25, which is good for Thrall because he is really heavily mana dependent. And then at 20 stacks, you basically get a second charge of Chain Lightning, which really works well with your level 16 talent. At level 4, I pretty much always go for Mana Tide. Basically, whenever you proc Frostwolf Resilience, basically every time you hit 5 units with abilities, it gives you 15 mana as well. So if you are hitting 4 units consistently with Echo of Elements, you're using 50 mana and you're getting back 15. Every little bit of mana counts, especially since you can clear a wave, get a regen globe, and get the resilience stack, and you're basically netting 0 mana loss. Or close to 0 mana loss, which is important. At level 7, I typically stick with Ancestral Wrath regardless of the situation because there's almost always a tank. Ancestral Wrath is basically every single time you get a proc of Frostwolf Resilience, it adds 1 counter to Ancestral Wrath. And then once you have 8 counters of those, it doesn't go above 8. Once you have 8 counters of those, you can use it as a single target nuke. It does 15% of the maximum health over 3 seconds, so 5% of their maximum health per second. And you throw that on the tank and it heals you for 150% of that damage. So the problem is that if you use this on someone and it kills them instantly, or they get wiped out before the 3 seconds, you don't continue to heal for that amount. It only heals you when you get that damage done. But still, it heals you for 22.5% of their maximum health if they get hit for every single charge of it, and that's really, really beneficial. I say that it does pure damage. I'm not 100% sure if it does. The problem is that it doesn't really say that it does magic damage. It says it does 50% of their max health, and usually when they consider max health damage in this game, it's usually pure. So that is my assumption. But again, you use this and that can really heavily sustain you in a fight. Again, that proc every second for that basically 7.5% of your health, of their health as healing to you, is a lot of health, especially in high HP tanks. Let's say you're using on someone like Diablo, who can have close to 10k HP at level 20. You're talking about, with obviously a fully stacked soulstone, but you're talking about effectively hitting them for, again, 15k in healing. So you're just sapping their life. I'm sorry, not 15k, 1.5k. So again, you saw that I only have 4,000 health. If I use it on someone like Diablo, I'm healing for almost half of my health, and that's a lot. I mean, I'm dealing more than like half their health. I'm usually healing for a lot in comparison. At level 10, I typically don't go Sundering, but we didn't have a lot of damage, so I decided to go Sundering. Typically, it's kind of a mixed bag one way or the other, but I usually go Sundering just as a damage upper for my team. Usually when we're lacking damage, like my team is mainly tanks and healers, that's when I go for that. Typically what I'm going for is Earthquake, and I'll show you guys that in the next game. Sundering's a good damaging spell. It also stuns whoever it hits. So if they have people that have channeling spells like Nazeebo got Ravenous Spirit, this is a really good way to stop Ravenous Spirit. It's also a good way to kind of stop the split the team up. If you throw it right down the middle, it just kind of separates the team out. At level 13, this is where you kind of have your choices. I tend to go more for Frostwolf's Grace than I do anything else, unless they have a really high magic damage team. Like they had Nazeebo and Li Ming. I could have benefited from a spell shield. but I find that Frostwolf's Grace is actually more saving than you'd think. Frostwolf's Grace effectively heals you for 150% of whatever the normal bonus is from Frostwolf Resilience. So you can usually hit it and heal for like 600 or 700 damage in battle. That's a lot, and considering it's a 15-second cooldown, you can spam it. Effectively use it 2 to 3 times in a long team fight endgame. At level 16, you go Thunderstorm. When you go for this build, you're going for Thunderstorm. You're not going to pick something else. I don't see why you would. Thunderstorm here, as you see, Chain Lightning slows targets by 8% for 2 seconds. And then targeting a hero with it directly increases the slow up to 40%. And then while at 40% bonus, Chain Lightning's damage is increased by 25%. So you have 2 uses of Chain Lightning as long as you don't target the same hero twice. You target one hero, you target another one, you can swap back and forth between targeting the heroes, and effectively you'll up your Chain Lightning slow to 40% rather quickly, and you'll get a 25% damage bonus, which is good because that gives Thrall some ranged poke, and a 40% slow for 2 seconds, which is a hell of a lot of slow. So couple that with your Feral Spirit, you can basically slow them, run up to them, throw a Feral Spirit, and link them in place, and then effectively beat them down with your E. So using your hammer, you just beat them down. Wind Fury is a strong finisher. And then your level 20 talent, it usually is dependent on your situation. In this case, I got the World Breaker to show you guys how I'm not a super big fan of it. Obviously, it splits wherever the Sundering hits. It leaves an impassable rift, and then it blocks movements, moving through it for 3 seconds. This can be really good because you can wall off an objective, you could wall off a boss, you could basically use Sundering so that you can, isolate a unit. It has its potential, but I find that Sundering can be very hit or miss, especially with where they land in forms of the crack. So if they fall on the other side of the crack, they just get thrown in the other direction, and then you can't get to them at all. I find that World Breaker tends to harm a lot more than it helps. Typically what I like to go for, if I go for the Sundering ult, is I actually go for a Blink Fury, essentially my other level 20 talent, that when it gives me a small blink, and then it gives me Wind Fury at no cost. So it doesn't put my Wind Fury on cooldown. I just blink and I have Wind Fury. It's a good way to kind of get out of a situation. You can blink, you can effectively blink away, and then, sorry about that, blink away, and then you can use Wind Fury to kind of escape further, because Wind Fury also gives you a movement speed buff, or you can use it to effectively double Wind Fury someone and just kind of bring their health down to very low. So it's a good skill on either side.